Similarly, the students might choose to interview their father or their aunt or their grandfather. Perhaps their grandfather was a freedom fighter who took up arms against an oppressive autocratic dictatorship, and the student wants to interview their grandfather about his experience and recognize the sacrifices that he made in order to fight for justice for his people. The students might choose to interview and learn more about someone in their immediate community. There might be a religious educator who works for education for women, or maybe there's a community leader. Students have chosen to interview someone, the director of the Upward Bound program, because of the great work that he has done in helping them navigate through high school successfully and giving them exposure to the college experience. Maybe it's a neighbor who they are aware of that does this work, and they want to honor and recognize them. Period. Some students might not know someone personally that works towards justice and equity. And in that case, they might choose to interview someone from a list that we compiled with other teachers and members of the community. In that case, they might choose a participant from a list that we compiled with other teachers and community members, and they would select based on the discipline and career that they are interested in pursuing in college. For example, they might be interviewing Dr. Kathy Woods from Buffalo State Urban and Rural Education, and maybe discuss her creation of the Urban Educators Academy. Or perhaps they're interested in music and they will be interviewing the founder of Buffalo String Works, which is an organization in Buffalo that brings music lessons to resettled youth. Or maybe they are interested in equity in law enforcement. And so one of our students, fantastic student, Mise, is going to be interviewing Carol Horn, the Buffalo police officer who 15 years ago interceded in her colleagues' strangling, choking of a arrested man, and subsequently lost her job and consequently her pension as well, period. So the students will be interviewing these agents of change from their family, from their immediate community, and from the larger city of Buffalo on a whole. So the steps of the project are: 1, selecting their agent of change; 2, interviewing their agent. So some of the interviews will be conducted in person if it is a family member or a neighbor, perhaps. Some participants will choose to answer their interviews via email, and some of the interviews will be held live and in class. And the students will be creating a web page, their page of a web page, and they will be, from that will be printed in a hard copy book. And they will, from this interview, it will propel their further investigation and their formal research paper. So, for example, one of the participants, some of the students will be interviewing a man named Mr. U, who is from Burma and who works as a teacher assistant in our school. Recently, he has been organizing rallies for recognition and raising awareness of the military coup that is going on in Myanmar right now. In addition, he, as a 15-year-old, was active as a student activist in the 888 revolution that occurred in Myanmar. So he is going to be discussing his life as an activist with the students. Now the students from that might investigate further what is going on today, or specifically the mistreatment of ethnic groups such as the Karen, the Rohingya, and the Karenni underneath this military regime. Period. One of the things that I'm really excited about in this project is this notion of public pedagogy. Public pedagogy seeks to position rigorous theoretical work in public bodies against corporate power. It connects classrooms to the challenges faced by social movements in the streets and provides spaces within classrooms for personal inquiry and private terrors to be translated into public considerations and struggles. I thought that this quote adequately reflects the work that the students will be participating in for the Agents of Change, because they will be showcasing and learning about how people are successfully fighting against injustices. So some of the questions that we developed as a class are, what is the injustice that you are fighting against? Where have you been successful? And what more work needs to be done? So the public form of this project is in the actual art installation that the students will be participating in. They will be the ones who are wheat pasting. We are working with artist Max Collins, who is well-versed in this type of installation process. So he will be speaking to the class, and then he will be on site to oversee the installation process. Each portrait will have a QR code included, and the public will be able to access the information via the QR code. So when a visitor comes to the installation, they can both read excerpts from the interview and also hear the student explaining the interview in a digital storytelling app. Period. The other aspect of public pedagogy that is part of this project is in the public presentation at Torn Space Theater. So the students will be presenting about their agent of change, presenting on their discussion and their interview questions with the participants as the participants' portraits are being projected at the theater. And that will be a live event open to the public. Exact organization to be determined due to CDC guidelines. The website will look something like this. This is Representative Crystal Peoples-Stokes, who I will be interviewing as a model interview.